Let's talk about drug abuse in Lagos State. Let's speak now with the Southern Operations Editor at HumAngle. That's Adejumo Kabir. Good morning to you, Adejumo Kabir. Thanks so much for joining the conversation today.
Good morning, Chief. It's really a pleasure to be here with you.
Yeah, I appreciate your time on the program this morning. Okay, there's quite a lot to talk about, and so I'll just begin first by stating, Lagos, that Adejumo Kabir worked on a report which has now been published by HumAngle. It is titled "On Kolos: A Reporter's Encounter with Lagos Drug Addict." Adejumo, I'll just let you talk very quickly about this. In just a few words, can you give Lagos an overview of this report, of what you covered and what you discovered?
Yeah, so sometimes in December last year, while we were having our office retreat in Abuja, we thought of it that there was need for us to do a documentary about the lives of drug addicts. Then after this, you realize that if you go to TikTok, you go to WhatsApp or any of these social media platforms, it will be difficult for you to flip through 10 pages without seeing people falling, without seeing people hitting their head on the floor, without you seeing people being beaten by their colleagues. And when one thing that comes to your head, you hear people saying, on colos. So this was our own motivation to say, we need to investigate all of this. At first, it will come as a prank. When you see people hitting themselves on the floor, when you see colleagues beating them, when you see them pouring water on them. And at point, we felt like, no, this must be very, very dangerous. And there may be need for us to investigate, to know what is really, because for me, it's if it's not insane that, you take it today, tomorrow your colleagues are beating you, your friends are beating you, are eating yourself on the floor, then the next day you go back to it. So we need to know exactly why are these people taking these drugs, and why is it even difficult for them to live. That was really our whole motivation. We know people take drugs, but we really want to know why is it difficult for these guys to live. For drug addicts to live
to stop
drug
taking drugs.
Stop. Yes. So, and our findings then realized. From our findings and interactions with people, we got to realize that many times what we see on social media, a lot of youth doing this, but indeed there are a lot of underage who are into the who are already addicted. There are a lot of women, yes. In fact, there's space for women, there's space for grandmothers who are even into this. You'll be surprised that in some of our findings realize that even there are some grandmothers who is basically their job, and there are some even people who are. There are some people who use their underage, children, to even traffic drug. They put it in their pants, so they will ensure that they beat the police checkpoint. As if you are old, police will stop and say, oh, let's do some checking. But when you say a child who is going to school, say as a child in SS1 or GS3 who just had the bag behind her or behind him, it will be difficult for police to say, oh, let me check you. So these people, they pretend as if their children are going to school. They allow them cross the road, and they link up with them in the other end of the road, and they transport and they put the money back in the bag of the girl, and the girl returns home to deliver to the parents. So this has really been, and we also observe from our experience that many times when this issue happens, or when they don't have money to buy this drug, they go as far as begging. And when they cannot even afford, maybe they beg, you did not give, they go as far as going into traffic robbery. They go as far as picking pockets. So it's really a menace that really needs to be addressed. And for many people that we interview, their dreams have been shattered. These are people who ordinarily were into hairdressing, people who ordinarily somebody, Ibrahim, one of those persons that spoke with us, said he used to be a carpenter, a chubby one for that matter, that when he started taking the drug, he stopped going to work. And now, the only thing he thinks about is, the drug. And when you ask them, why is it difficult to stop? They tell you it's the urge, that the moment you start taking it, it's part of your blood, it's part of your vein. So you need to flush it out. If you don't take it, you won't feel comfortable. So they would rather use the money they are supposed to use to hit to go buy the drug. So it's that terrible, really.
It's sobering to listen to this, and even a lot more sobering reading your report. That said, you spoke with this person this year, 2024. Yes.
Yeah, April.
All right, fantastic. What part of Lagos did you visit? Where did you find, these persons? And before we talk about what you found, what part of Lagos does your report cover?
Yeah, so the first thing that comes to head, anybody who stays in Lagos, when you hear about thuggeries, when you hear about social vices, first you must think of Agege, where you have after you must have think of Agege, you think of Oshodi. So I was in Oshodi, in Agege axis, I was at Okekoto, I was at the railway line, I was at Moshalasi, I was at EG. These are places where they use, but there's another place they call Abedeki. So it's an uncompleted building where these people have their own base. Also visited the rail line at Oshodi, visited some of their hideouts in Oshodi, then Ojodubega on that bridge.
All right, and so you spoke with, let's say, approximately how many persons?
In the course of the investigation, our documentary really captured about 4 or 5, but in all, but that makes up the report. We spoke with about over 10 people who are already addicted, including men, women, young and old.
All right.
And the interesting thing is that they all share stories of regrets. That's just it.
Okay, we'll get to that in just a bit, but from your conversation, your interaction with them, what did you discover? You mentioned, quite a few, but in terms of how they take these things, which one they prefer to take, how they get high, what did you discover?
Okay, so the title of the report itself was on Colos, but we now realized that beyond Colorado, these guys, they go as far as sniffing sockaway. They open, the sockaway cover, they put in their nose and smoke. They go as far as sneaking the exhaust of cars, of motorcycles. They go as far as taking. And for them, it's like a child who is in primary school, then you go to secondary school, you go to university. So before you get to that part of taking Colorado, these people first, they grow from marijuana, the one popularly called Igbo. So they after a while they move to what's it called, Loud. After Loud, they go as well to take Colorado, and they go as far as taking dry pawpaw. They cut pawpaw, they dry it, and they put the leaf in in alcohol. They go as far as taking formalin. Is that the right name? Yes. What they use in in preserving corpse, dead body. So it's that terrible, because they believe it gives them some sort of false confidence to say, okay, yes, things they would ordinarily. One of the women I met, a sad story for that matter, she's over 50. So from our conversation is that when she's taking all of these things and she became unconscious, some of the younger ones, well, also they molest her, they harass her, sometimes sexually abuse her. Then the next day she cry when she's conscious. But before you know it, the next day she's back to it. So it's really, really, really but I can say there's really marijuana is not even as for these guys, they don't see marijuana as anything. They see marijuana as cigarette. I'm not sure that even get them high. The first thing, they now take what they call Colorado, and they in Yoruba they say Babaoja. They say Tigoja or thereabout. That's the way they put it.
What did they tell you about how they purchase these things? Is it readily available? Do they need to go through a long process to get it, or these things are available?
No. Nigeria, we run a porous border. We have everything, and so it's better skater. You'll be surprised that where you have your radio station, if you check 2-3 houses around, you find somebody who is selling over there. So it's something that is everywhere. You necessarily do not need to take time. People export, people take it out and thereabout. So our report didn't really focus on the trafficking itself. But in the reasons of it all, it is everywhere. And when you ask them, they tell you it is everywhere. It's just like the way you can buy your gari, you can buy your rice. It's that simple. Every bus stop where you have these thugs, where they have their base, they know how to get it. And in fact, you have among them, you have somebody who is a major dealer. Interestingly, they even go as far as, some of the allegations they made, we were unable to get to the NDLA, was that sometimes when the NDLA, even some of the officers of the NDLA, when they see some of these items, they buy from them. Police come around. If you check some of the documentary, one of those boys, they say police only come to exploit them. They come, they collect their whatsoever illicit drug with them, they collect their money, they arrest them. After collecting money from them, they release them. So which means when they release them, they are not returning this money, and so they are surprised. Police will say this to other people. It's just like when you go to sex workers, brothels. They will tell police come and take their own share. In the afternoon, police to come and they say, okay, this is how much you pay for police monthly. So just like the drug addict too. So the NDLA guys, they know their hideout. They go there, they negotiate, and for them, what they said is that most times this thing is just like a chain that is revolving. That is more or less like a circle. So you think NDLA see some, but some of the corrupt officers, not all anyways, but some who are notorious, they end up sending back to the community.
Well, part of your report states that aside, the Colos, that's the Colorado that you mentioned, codeine, loud, tramadol, pawpaw, like you mentioned, cannabis, also known as marijuana or weed, aside those that you mentioned the soccer weight thing that they do, the sniffing of a car or generator exhaust pipes, and then visiting garbage sites as well to inhale hydrogen sulfide. You mentioned that, but one part that we need to talk about, and this is so that parents who don't know that their kids use these things, and who probably know and don't know how to stop it, and the rest, and people in general can know how they code name these things. I see in your report that you mentioned that they have different code names. You mentioned one already. Yes,
some they call DSP. That's codeine, I guess. Is it cocaine or codeine or cocaine? There's one they call DSP. So my experience of getting to know that even tramadol is paracetamol.
Wow.
To relate with the people in the community. So I'll go to the field and play with these guys, and because they wouldn't know the person who is on the field playing with them, they will say, oh, when you kick one of them in the leg, you say, oh, don't worry, he wants to go and take paracetamol. So to my surprise, I had to just say, what exactly is paracetamol? Only to realize that just to avoid being suspected, it is tramadol, they call paracetamol, they call Refnor, Reverend Father, all sorts of names, and you'll be surprised, really.
There's one you wrote here which says vegetable. That's for marijuana.
Yeah, that's for marijuana.
Vegetable. So marijuana is called vegetable. My goodness. All right. Again, this is quite sobering to know that young men and their dreams are wasting away in the city of Lagos because of the availability of drugs, the fact that these things are readily there for them to take. And did you discover how much they part with to get these things? How much these things go for? Are they cheap? Are they expensive?
Yes. In fact, if you check in our documentary, when the lady was saying things have become expensive in Nigeria, rice is expensive, this is expensive, that drugs are the only things you could easily afford. So with 200 naira, you can have your you should be able to get Colorado. You should be able. So some of these things it depend on it depends, and sometimes it's even varies. So if you're a Yahoo boy now that they know you have money, the amount they will charge you is different from the one they will charge somebody with you'll be surprised what you are buying for 100 naira. Another guy will come and buy it for 2,000 naira. So it varies really. But with as cheap as 200 naira, you can get all of these things, and And the crazy thing is that some guys even go as well as mixing this together. They take a small part of Colorado, take a loud, take all of this, mix it together, and then because they believe that will even work more effective.
Okay. All right, Lagos, you can join the conversation. Let's hear what you have to say. 0909-555-1039. Your experience with drug and the abuse of drugs in the state of Lagos. Let's hear what you have to say about this. We're currently reviewing this report, a recent report by Adejumo Kabir, who is my guest this morning. He did this report for HumAngle, and the report is titled on Colos, a reporter's encounter with Lagos drug addict. What's your experience with drug addiction and abuse in Lagos? Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning once again.
Yes. Welcome.
Why do we have this menace spreading out in the first in the country? Because the security agencies are supposed to apprehend them and patronizing them. I don't want to mention any name. They are partakers. They take, collect money from them, They know. If you say go and arrest, they know to arrest them, but they won't do that because them are partakers. That is why it's very, very convincing. And some of them will take it and fall inside that. I've seen a lot. Last month, someone took early in the morning, and when I was just coming out, I saw him drenched because I fell inside water. And they were beating him. Until after a while. Not for nothing. Some guys were buying a boutique gum, putting in bottle and be helling me. They hell a lot. But why is it tearing up? Because agencies are supposed to apprehend them, to see them are not doing that. Them two are members, partakers of it. I don't want to mention any officer, any member. They are all. That is why it's not working. Because everything in Nigeria doesn't work. All those who patronizes them. People that arrest them are patronizing them. They know how they hide out. Thank you.
Thanks for your contribution, Lagos. Let's take some more calls. 0909-555-1039, number to call, and 0703-2277-338, and the number to call to be part of the show. Good morning to you. Turn down the volume, would you? Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Bassey.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Felix. Yes, my name is Ayo.
Yes.
This thing is everywhere. It's everywhere. Come to Lekki, you see them under the Peretra Bridge at Marowa. You will see them smoking there. Go to Alagbado, you will see them. In fact, in houses on the street, you will see them smoking. That's particular one that I witnessed in that was at Dalimo axis of Alagbado. That is between Lagos and the boundary. This guy pulled up his clutch. As he was going, just pulled up his clutch and just entered the gutter and started putting the water in the gutter into the head and be drinking. So some people rushed after him. They pick him up. They brought it out, and he still rushed back into the place. What has happened? They say he has smoked what they call it. You say tramadol, whatever they said, he has smoked. So it's everywhere, very close to us. But they are becoming a nuisance to us. If you report them, they are coming, they will go and tell police. Police is coming to come and harass you because police are saying where and seeing them in the joint. You will see police there, you will see soldier there. Okay, those people that are supposed to arrest, they will go there sneaking, even in police uniform. In police uniform, they will sneak into the joint and they will smoke and they will come out. When they are broke, they are coming back to come and meet those guys and collect money. We saw it. Nigeria has seen them. But who do we report to? The same police? That is a great question. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for sharing this experience. Well, Lagos, let's hear some more of what you make of this very sobering, menace. We're taking your calls. Lagos, keep those calls coming in, right? Share your drug addiction and drug abuse experience in the city of Lagos. If you think that there's a lot more that happens, you could share that experience so we all gain knowledge of how deep this thing is and fix this. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Bassey. Sorry again.
Very quickly then.
If you want to see them, go to the railway line from Ido, right away from Ido to Ogun State axis. Don't enter, board the train. Come and see them on the train line. Inside small bush, on the rail line, some of them said they are seeing the railway, we want to crush them. The railway people know them, they see them, everybody is seeing them. The government cannot say they don't know they are there. They are there. Everywhere, they are not hidden. Go and enter train, you will see them. Just pass through the train to Agege, from Ido right away to Agege and go to Oposuru. You will see all of them there. They are not hidden. They are not hidden. The funny thing is that these are youth. These are young people that are supposed to hold Nigeria tomorrow. Yet they are wasting away and nobody cares.
Thanks for your contribution. Appreciate that. And maybe that's the saddest part about this, all right? The fact that people had dreams before they were hooked to these things, who had dreams, those dreams gone. They don't care no more about those dreams. They just want to have the taste of these things and move. Yes. Yes.
The worrisome thing about this thing for me is that the people that are supposed to apprehend and make sure that this menace is covered in the society are not doing the work. If you go to Arena, I know Shodi, the cantonment that has the fence back on the road going to Shogunle, they have a cap out of that fence. Officers came up from there to financial them on the other side of the road. Like how you're saying, you go to the bus stop, wherever, even the way you're living. Just look around you, you see them. And always in want, always hungry. You don't have money, but you have money to buy Colorado. And at the end of the day, start behaving like a madman. So we don't know the difference between the mad person and the Colorado boys, because it's all over. They look at that, unkept, not in the unfortunate. Madman is concerned, they are not doing what they are supposed to do. The officers are being patronized support this thing.
Right.
Thank you.
Thanks for your contribution. Adejumo, let me come back to you. It was in 2021, wasn't it? When the House of Reps, right, that would be the 9th Assembly, did encourage the executive to declare the state of emergency on this menace, on drugs in the country. And as a matter of fact, even the president then, mentioned the fact that the war on drugs in Nigeria is worse than the war on corruption and on terrorism, right? How, in your view, considering that you were the one on the field and you interacted with these persons, how bad do you think this is? And if you were going to paint a picture of how bad it could get if this is not tackled by both governments, by families, the smallest units of society, and even individuals, corporate bodies, non-corporate, non-profits as well, if we don't together fight this, how bad do you think this could get?
Already, we see if the issue of fraud. Let's start from there. In the past, you see people who are doing fraud. You say, "Oh, this guy is," but to your surprise, a child who is just leaving the secondary school, they now go do sign outs, carry Range Rover, and nobody is asking them how. That is the same situation we have at hand when it comes to drug. Now people who are in primary school, for instance, I've just cited an example of a child whose parents will put drug in the bag and you say, okay, cross the road so that you can beat security operator. Sensitize people, and by sensitization, we necessarily do not need to wait for people to say, oh, this child is young or is old. No, the sensitization must start from primary school, where people are told the implication of drug abuse, where people are told the implication. I mean, for instance, I spoke with people who said they will never be fined except they have this thing flushed out of their body system. So it's really a big challenge. And this is the era of social media where you even see people celebrate all sorts of madness. You see somebody who ordinarily should not be in custody of a child, who has a 2-3-year-old child, and they will be taking shisha. They will be taking drug beside the child. So it's there's needs. I mean, there's need for government to formulate. There's need for our own parents to also ensure that when they ask questions, when your child leaves the house and returns, and the child acts weird, you should ask questions. At Ojoju Bega, I know of a man who told me a story of how he had to monitor the child who graduated from Kwaso. After the child graduated, then they tried monitoring the child. Now the child is a menace because each time the guy goes along to borrow money, to lie and say his father said he should come and borrow money, and then he will buy the drug. At a time to take this child to rehab, the guy returned thinking that all is fine, and he returned to drug. So there's need for us to start from the grassroots. There's need for us to do sensitization. There's need for radio, stations like yours. There's need for television stations. There's need for promotional, content from the hand of the government. The National Orientation Agency must try as much as possible that we engage right, and this is wrong. And they must, we must as well talk to our social media influencers, guys in the entertainment industry. You shun movies that promote illegalities. You shun movies that promote, you shun music that promote, all forms of social vices. We must first start from there. And we must make it mandatory that our primary schools, their courses on civic education, social study education, there are some things that we should dedicate to this and ensure that children are taught not just the basics, but understand the danger of taking this and what it means. For instance, look at examples of people who have got their dreams shattered. So I think that is the only means we can get it. The parents have got job to do. The people, our leaders have got job to do. The guys in the anti-graft the NDLA fighting this have also got job to do. It is not enough when you arrest people and you take bribe and you free them or you sell baggage drugs that you have seen from. And like all of the commentators have said, this is not just restricted to Lagos. Lagos may just be the most pronounced places. If you go to Port Harcourt, you find them. If you go to the northern region, you find them. People go as far as sniffing gum. So it's really a thing that we need to ensure we explain the danger. There's need for government to, parents too need to ensure that they ask questions when they notice issues. That their children or their wards are acting otherwise. They need to ask questions.
All right.
And for us, we are in the media industry. We need to continue to do it. We won't just say, because we have reported it today, we have to stop. No, we need to continue to report. We need to continue to advocate and ensure that we don't stop until we have the necessary policy reform to address this menace.
Well, Adejumo Kabir, thank you so much for being a part of the program this morning. Most importantly, thank you for taking the risk to be on the field, to do this report, to speak with these young persons who do this. I read your report and I saw the lady who's called Mama Shege or Shege Mama by her peers.
Shege Mama.
Shege Mama by her peers. Her looks alone, right there on the streets could make me leave my valuables and run away, and it is sad, her story, quite sad, how she did what she how she started what she started at 15. Adejumo Kabir, thank you so much for being a part of the conversation again, and well done for the job that you do. Adejumo Kabir is the Southern Operations Editor at HumAngle. Thank you so much again.
It's really a pleasure.
Yeah, appreciate that. Again, like you mentioned, we need to keep talking about this and not stop until we see necessary change, effectual changes done. Thank you again, and have a fantastic one today.